happened to have 3 old Hammond & Morgan point motors and one even older Triang one, and I thought as I needed 4 motors for the next station I would press these into service for that. They didn't need a big hole cutting in the baseboard as the motors I had used at Innsdorf needed, and that wasn't really very satisfactory from the visual point of view, trying to cover in the hole and to hide it under the ballast, and I thought I could avoid that by using this type of motor for the next station. With the Hammond & Morgan motors, all that was needed would be one hole through the board in between the sleepers of the points, so it's very discreet and easy to install. All 3 of the Hammond & Morgan point motors now have a rod inserted through them, and each of them has a slot cut into the end of the rod. The idea is that these are fastened under the baseboard. The rod projects through the baseboard between sleepers near the point blades, and a piece of stiff steel wire will be soldered into the slot at the top of the rod that goes through the motor, through the board, and that in turn will hook into the tie bar of the point, enabling the point to be changed by the motor underneath the layout. It's a system we used on Kingsgate, the old 1950s 60s layout that I had in 00 gauge, well still do have, but it's not working at the moment. So I know this system works. Eventually I know that the springy piece of metal soldered into the top of that rod will work loose. The solder is not a perfect mechanical joint, but it does take a long time for that to happen, and then a simple dab with a soldering iron soon fixes it, so it's not a major problem. And it does, on the whole, give very trouble-free operation. Now, the next thing is to wire these up. Construction of Innsdorf station had used up all the telephone and computer wire that I'd got in stock, but many years ago a friend whose hobby was organ building had given me a bit of spare multi-core cable he had, many meters of it with very many cores, and this would be ideal for wiring up this part of the layout. I stripped it of its outside sheath and then used the various cores in their various colours to wire up the inside of the control panel, to connect the control panel to the transformer rectifier, and to wire the controls to the point motors and the signals, which I haven't talked about yet, on the layout. Because the track layout of the station just involved 2 loops, I simply needed 2 momentary contact switches to control the points. The points at each end of each loop will be controlled together with one switch between them.